too, and a farm that belongs to my good friend. I need to talk to you. I have not talked to somebody international. My brother, I need to start with you. I'll get to him. It's a special one. We have Pastor with us. Pastor, we did not pray. You have got to pray for us and then tell us about your products in here. We need to respect God. Praise Lord.
Yeah, thank you so much. Welcome to Bethel Farms, Arua. We are located in Pajulu, around BAT. And in Bethel Farm, we do horticulture, we do poultry, we do piggery, we do fishing. And we do a lot more. And also, if you want to take on any event, you can consult us, and you can come and reach out to us.
Well, I need you to pray for us.
Opening prayer. Yeah, thank you. Lord Jesus, we thank you for today. We ask that you bless this event and you give us wisdom to deal with many participants and give us understanding that at the end of the day, we will have a blessed 3 days here. Thank you. My name is Mark John.
that you inject in to do the production, from land preparation, probably looking for the cassava stems and up until production. So at the end of it all, what you injected in has to come back, but with a profit. So we have a specialist here from Abizadi. He's going to introduce himself. But also here with me, like I mentioned earlier on, we have a specialist that is going to translate the verbal communication into a sign language, such that the community that is not, that can pick what we say verbally is also catered for. So here with me, we have the gentleman. He's very much set and ready to do the training. He has a lot of training materials. I'm seeing Cassava here, but also I'm seeing booklets where someone can read through, you know, for those who are able to read, and they'll be able to understand even after the training. But most importantly, pay attention, follow each and everything is going to take you through strictly and, you know, cleanly. So, the gentleman,
yes,
I'll give it back to you. Thank you.
Thank you. My is I work for Naro study. Hello. I deal so much with cassava issues, and I'll beg to use both English and Lubarati at some times. Friends, in West Nile, no cassava, no home. No cassava, no home. And you add beans on top of it. I know the sweet varieties, people are so much into eating it like katugo. That is, you cut your cassava, you boil it, mix it with beans. They call it korokoto, foundation for the day. But now, before we go to the food aspect, we're like talking so much into the business model for cassava. How can cassava enrich you from no level to somewhere, from grass to grace? And we're much aware that before that, we had what we call bitter cassava varieties. And we all know them. The Sanjays, the Napamitu, Uchola, Namkere. We have Klakla from Koboko. We have Tongolo. We have Basumenge. We have Derekenga from Mari region. But all these were bitter varieties. As if they were bitter, they used to take a lot of time to mature in the soil. And they were so much into, you know, getting succumbed to pests and diseases. Who are these pests? We have things like the white flies. We have things like the green mites. We have even termites. We have variegated grasshopper. There are many. But of late, the only problem with cassava now is the disease burden, which is so much into the brown streak disease, cassava brown streak disease. Okay? And all of us here will give a testimony that we are blessed with the brown streaks in our fields. But today is the time for us to iron out these things. But first of all, even as a human being, before you marry, these days they ask you to look for, you know, a disease-free woman, a disease-free man. Yes? Do you marry someone who's positive? Leave it, unless you are positive. Do we agree? That's why we normally go for tests. But for a farmer to succeed, you always have to begin with a clean seed. This seed is the stem. Now, where do you get this clean seed from? Number one, make use of your gombololas. When you talk about gombolola, they are the sub-county staff near you. The extensionists. They have the production officer who leads them. They will be able to lead you. Where do I get this material? Is it from Abizadi? Is it from what to call, you know, a farmer who deals in what to call quality declared seed near you? Now, after saying that, who are these varieties now? We are now coming to what to call improved varieties of cassava. By those years, we talk about TME 14, TME 204. We talked about Kenya. We talked about Mijera, which in lower belt of Pakwat, they call it Longe. Now, we talked about NASE 14. People talked about NASE 19. Of late, people are talking about Narocas 1. Why this long list? It is just because all the varieties have all succumbed, or they have given up, and they have infection from what? Cassava brown stick disease. There are only 2 cassava varieties that can tolerate. Tolerance means they can learn to live with the disease, but after some time they'll also give up. Yes, they'll also what? Give up. Why give up? Because the disease burden or the pressure will be high. Who are these 2 varieties? These are NASE 19 and Narocas 1.
So when you're saying varieties, in a layman's language, or like me, he's just talking about the different types of cassava. Just like I was mentioning the nyako nyako, the kasimwenge. So those are the varieties.
Why NASE 19? Many times people ask me, why do they call it NASE? Letter N-A-S-E. This stands for Namlonge Selection. Namlonge is one of our national institutes in Wakisho along Zirobi Road via Gayaza. Okay? They are the authors, they are the dealers, they are the main gurus who now do what to call selective breeding for cassava. They are at national level, but me, I'm at a zonal level. When they breed varieties of crops, they bring them for testing in Abi. When the crops reach Abi, we also take it to what to call, the different districts. We work for 13 districts, including Arua City. We do what to call adaptation studies. Adaptation is nothing but if you are NASE 19, can you grow in West Nile soil? How do I test you for growth? How do I test you for, yield? How do I test you for tolerance to pests and diseases? Is my work as SISTO, as research, as ABI here. Why do I test them? There are many times, we breed for what to call reasons or purposes. I can breed for dry matter. You, Mr. Cassava, when you are NASE 19, when I breed you and I grow you, you give me a lot of flour, anyafura. Okay? Now, whether you are NASE 19, when I breed you, I must breed you for reasons that, even if you give me enough for anafura, you must be sweet. You must be what? Sweet. There are moments, there are people who go for nguli, local beer, local brew. People call it chamia. Chamia means I have mine, I give to you. You see? That one needs bitter what? Varieties. All types of cassava. But now, our basic reason for cassava breeding in Uganda is to avert, number 1, hunger. We don't want people to be hungry. Okay? There are moments when people talk about cassava, they see food coming. Which food is within 12 months? How many months? 12 months, yeah, what? 1 year. Okay? You use it from 12 months up to 18 months. Meaning 1.5 years. 1 year to 1.5 what? Years. But there are complaints. You people, your cassava is so tough. It does not stay. It does not store in the soil. My basumenge, my, mingoro is my food reserve. It stayed for long. Do you take tea with the roots of mingoro? Are they sweet? How long do they take in the soil? How many months? I think over 24 months, okay? 2 years. If you don't use mingoro after 2 years, even if you have white, the flour will look in terms of the bread. At midnight after eating, you can confess your sins. You'll be vomiting. Don't you? If you're not careful, you can even change your number plate from heaven to earth. No, from earth to heaven. You'll die. You see? Now, our issue now is, apart from our varieties, NASE 19 and Narocas 1, you can keep growing the other varieties. These ones quicken your hunger issues, quicken your poverty issues. But that one remains as what? Food base. Do we agree? Yeah, that's why I needed to put this clear. But when they now talk about NASA 19, Narocas 1, these are sweet varieties. They are what? Sweet. They are not bitter. They only take 1 year to about 1.5 years. Now their complaints also come in that Narocas 1 does not store it, it rots, is bringing poverty for us. Farmers, am I lying? You say so. Now, when you take your family burden in terms of population versus what is brought on table to eat, I think we have reasons to have quick or easy maturing varieties of these crops, so that you have something on table to eat. That's on what to call, it acts as, a guarantee to feed the family. Number 2, apart from feeding just for food, we are not going to treat cassava as what? Business. As what? Business. Now, when we talk about business, it's about profit. When we talk about profit, it is hard work. When you want to work hard, you work with what to call, a defined protocol. For example, you sit with your family. You now say, mama, children, orphans, other dependents. This year, we want to grow 5 acres of what? Cassava. How do we grow it? Is what we shall come to. I'm just introducing. Okay? Our major emphasis here is about cassava as what? Business. But to begin with, before you go to the business aspect, I said you begin with clean what? Seed. Where do you get the clean seeds? At what age? Which price? Okay? That is very important.
And when you're saying clean seed, it's specifically saying a seed that does not have diseases, like it's free from diseases. So that's what it means by clean seed.
Clean seed is the same as pest and disease free seed. Where do you get it from? Number 1 source is at Naro Abizad. Number 2, Omia Agribusiness is one arm that deals in seeds. They have experts. They always lead you to the correct source for the seed. Number 3, go to the nearest sub-county authority. Who are these? These are the agric extension workers. They'll give you a hand to push you where to go. But when you now go to them, at your level as a farmer, you must be able to know if this is clean seed. How does it look like? That's the most important thing. Okay? Now, I've come with some samples here. I want all of us to interest our eyes, occasion our eyes, as we look. Pass it through. Don't mind. For farmers, when we learn practical, it's more interesting. Pass them. We shall debate whether these are clean seeds or they are bad. And what makes them bad or clean? Why not clean? Okay? One serious disease of cassava, since I was young, I used to learn of, is called cassava mosaic disease. Cassava what? It makes cassava to sit on its age or months, to refuse to grow. Now, the cassava has what to call nodes. Nodes are this space between this thing that looks like a thorn to the next. You remember? The longer they are, the faster growth. The shorter they are, meaning there is a problem. I remained short because I was not sick. This is genetic syndrome. It is genetic what? Syndrome. I had some genetic defect. But if I were cassava, you remember, they will have said this is mosaic infected what? Cassava. Okay? What happens? For mosaic, instead of the nodes to be a little longer, they compress, they become shorter. In other words, we say in science, short internode formation. The nodes are near each other. If you look at the cassava, the stem doesn't even look nice for planting for the next generation. You see? a traditional Lugbara by then, Mzee first stand up. Looked like Mzee. Very tall, giant. When you look at the ear, he's hairy. The chest is what? Hair. They are giant. I'm a Lugbara. Am I like him? What happened? What went wrong? Huh? For every crop you grow, it competes with environment. Competes with what? It competes with environment. The environment acts negatively or positive towards it. How? Remember, at Muze's time, they had acreages of land. They practiced what we call bush following. You see? They leave the land to what? Follow. To appreciate in terms of nutrient gradient. Now, these days, the land I used was left by my grandfather to my grandfather to my father and then to me. So it's divided into smaller pieces, fragments. The land does not rest. We use it from A to Z in terms of months. You are harvesting, you are planting. Am I lying? Then that degrades the soil what? Fertility. Now, cassava is not a very greedy crop with nutrients. But and yet when we plant it now, the soils are not what? Having rich nutrient. There's problem. Meaning the environment dictates on this. How does it dictate this? On this one time. That's why many times when we talked about NASE 14, for now it is not healthy at all. Why? It succumbs to the environment pressure in terms of disease. But for mosaic, what happens? I said number one, short internet formation. Number two, if you looked at the leaves of cassava that is infected by mosaic, instead of them being broad and nice, they become narrower. They become slender. Even the green color disappears. Okay? It disappears. The cassava remains short. At the end of business, when you harvest such a cassava, it doesn't give you the required yield. Okay? Now, my major interest is to speak about why these cassava leaves look yellow. Okay? Let me explain this. This is real cassava brown streak disease. They normally abbreviate it CBSD. I'm using red because it is dangerous. CBSD. Cassava brown streak disease. If cassava was a human being, this would have been the AIDS of cassava. It's viral. There are around two types of viruses that cause brown streak disease. One is called cassava brown streak virus. Two is called cassava Uganda virus. Okay? Which means one is Ugandan origin, the other one is by nature. These two, what do? Let's start with its signs on the part of cassava that is above the ground. The leaves, the stem, okay? Look at that called the midrib in the middle. But from the middle or the midrib, they are either auxiliary or small veins. Okay? But in ideal situation, the whole of this leaf must have a very dark green surface. Dark green what? Surface. Is it dark green? It is having some funny things on it. What are these? When you now see some yellow marks, streaks, coming from the major midrib, following along the minor leaves, making it look decorated yellow, okay? That is disease symptom number one for cassava brown streak disease. Number two, you'll find situations for the leaf to remain green, the whole of the leaf turns yellow, but those other minor small veins remain green. That's what we call a reverse symptom for brown streak disease. Number four, this is cassava stem. When you go to your field, you'll find the stem behaves as if some small child came and scratched it with nails, fingernails, okay? And it had dried. Meaning it gives you what to call dead tissues or necrotic lesions on the stem. Those are the three major signs, things that tell you that this cassava has brown streak disease. You go ahead and look at what to call the roots that are underground, what is supposed to be eaten by you. Exhume or pull it. After pulling it or uprooting, first get for me one cassava tuber there from our store. A normal cassava root or the stem must have looked like this. Is that true? That's the normal one, disease free. But there are moments in your fields, after uprooting, you get the cassava root looks something similar like this. As I'm teaching, you flash back to your fields. Looks like this. Yes? When you put on whole rosary, it looks exactly like this. When you get beads, it looks like this. These parts here are called constrictions. Constriction. When you dissect or cut it, when you cut this root, you'll find definitely something funny looks here. Which means if you had drawn it, okay? Something that looks brown or yellow is inside it. This is the center of the pith. It originates from it. There is a browning, or we say root necrosis. And when your cassava reaches this kind of stage, when you have one sack of it, if you put it in a drum of water, it flows on top of it. It is weightless. Okay? When you even feed your pigs with it, they will say, I don't eat. They will refuse. Okay? If the useless animal pig says, I'm not eating, will you eat as a human being? Which means your loss is over 70%. It causes a loss of up to what? Over 70%. Now, you'll be lucky if you do what to call field inspection. Field inspection means you have planted, you are weeding, you keep on monitoring your cassava, you go to see what is wrong with it. Okay? When you do field monitoring, when you see those symptoms are told you are there, the best you do is within less than 8 months, harvest that cassava. Harvest it. That's when you'll get something small out of it. If you fail to harvest it, you lose it all. Okay? You lose it what? All. Now, I took long to talk about what to call the two diseases, which were cassava mosaic disease and what? Cassava brown streak disease. This is in reference to having what to call quality cassava planting material. Are we okay? Now, let us now go to how you can get the best material for planting. When you want to plant cassava, first of all, cassava needs fertile land. It needs what? My friends from Terego, you take all the fertile land for tobacco. The infertile one you give for what? Cassava and the other crops. Am I lying here? I'm not saying you are doing very bad. In principles of land usage, you deal with what we call priority crops. When you talk about priority crops, cassava is one of them. Because you feed from it, you sell it in terms of the stems and what? The roots. It makes money. After 12 months, you are rich. We'll see that economics later. Now, what type of soil grows cassava best? What type of soil grows cassava best? Or what type of soil does not grow what? Cassava. Number one, put it down. Never plant cassava in a swampy area. When your soil is wet, when it is water loss, or 24/7 it has water, don't grow cassava in it. Why? The cassava yields in form of the tuber or the root. Okay? When this root is under the soil, and 24/7 it is under water, there will be poor aeration. Poor what? Aeration. You'll find the cassava root will begin to rot. Rotting means by that time when it is mature, you want to go and uproot. You'll uproot, but the stem comes out. The whole flesh and the roots remain where? Underground. Okay? Such fields are best blessed with what we call smelly nature. It smells, there are flies in that field. We call that one soft root rot. Okay? Number two, those of us who are foresters, farmers, you have wood lots. There are moments due to pressure of where to farm. You don't have enough field. You go and you degazette your field. You see? After reclaiming the land from forest body, don't and ever plant cassava as the first crop. Why? When you plant cassava in what we call newly reclaimed forest land, the cassava will grow, will have a lot of stem, thick one, big leaves, dark green and nice tall, but under the roots, you'll harvest nothing. I think they're experienced farmers here. Why? The forest soil is so fertile. Tree leaves fall there, grass decomposed, stems, a lot of decomposition happened. So, the organic matter in such a field is very high. Which means, one component in terms of nutrient that allows growth is called nitrogen. It's needed in what? Big quantity. But for it allows these crops to grow above the ground. Then you'll have a lot of leaves, stems, but underground, nothing. Okay? 3, roots that are harvested from forest reclaimed land for cassava, they look ugly. They are constricted. They are thin, useless. Why? Some tree stems remained there. The cassava roots get infused with what? The stems. It changes shape and like that kind of thing. That type of soil where you're not supposed to grow cassava is what we call rocky soils. Rocky means it's full of stone, shallow. Mr. Root yields under the ground. But when the soils are shallow, will it yield well? No. You avoid those kind of soils. Those 3 soils, you avoid them. I said number 1, water lost soils. Number 2, soils reclaimed from the forest. Number 3, soils that are rocky, laterite, very shallow. Don't grow cassava in them. But once you now select soil that is what we call loam soil, cassava needs loam soils. When we talk about loam soils, you must have humus. You must have humus, sand, some small mud, and then adequate water. Okay? Those are loam soils. But of course, loam soil that is gentle sloping. Why gentle sloping? I am allowing water to flow by gravity, by freeliness, no force. Then you plow such a land twice. Tillages are twice. Tillage means the regimes of cultivation, land opening. I grew up using hand hoe. I used to call it number 7. Okay? You put it on your what? Then our subsistence. When you are still using hand hoe, you are hand to mouth farmer. You are what? A hand to mouth what? Farmer. You are not commercial. Then there came a time I became an ox trainer. There are these bulls that you train to open the land in use of ox plow. Very common in eastern Uganda, northern Uganda, some parts along the Nile, Adjuman, Moyo, name it. Those soils are they are sandy, very light. Okay? Even pregnant women plow using those animals there by the. We tried to embrace it in Yumbe under FNS GOPA, Food and Nutrition Security kind of project. It failed. I don't know. It picked also in some parts of Vura. There's a man who used to be a newsreader in Voice of Love. He's not late. He practices very well in what? In Vura. My people, hand hoe will not take you anywhere. Our daughters get married in exchange of dowry called bulls. Are they not there? Let us embrace with time with experts who can train you to use what? Animal power. Because the tractor we cannot afford for now. Are we okay? Now you open the land how many times? Twice. First opening, then second what? Opening. Once you do that, my question now is, most of our fields have some notorious grasses. Number one is called kochi grass. Number two is called spear grass. Kochi grass is called odroko. And they're not friendly to your cassava. For a spear grass, for the young one to come to an old, it has a thorn structure. It will prick through the cassava root. It begins rotting. You lose it. For the kochi grass, if you don't prepare the land properly, especially during dry season, when did our rains go? When did our rains disappear? Last year. November, December, okay? That would have been the time when you will have done already the first land opening. For now, we're in Feb, where the heat is as if, don't touch me. It's too hot. This is when you are doing the second what? Digging. The reason is you are exhuming the stems of those two grasses out. They dry. They decompose to add manure. It even reduces your chances of weeding. If you don't do so, you'll weed as if there's no tomorrow to disturb you. Are we there? Now, once you did that, then my issue now is, what is the best age and stage for cassava to be used as a planting material? Who's the eldest human being here? An elder human being here? Stand up. I want someone who's between 25 and 30 years. 25 and 30? You're all above 35. Let me use this gentleman here. Or I can use him. Let's compare these two human beings. Are they in the same age bracket? They are not, eh? Let's bring these two people, two wives. You have one wife of 25 years. Muse also has one at 25 what? They now produce children. Between Muse's child and, what's your name? Who? Francis' child. Which baby will be healthy? Francis, eh? Why? Why? Now, I will answer that as I explain. You can sit down. Okay? The age bracket for cassava as a planting material matters. It must be within 12 to 18 months. 12 to 18 months. Anything after 18 months, name it. That is not a planting material, it is wood. It is what? Use it for firewood. Why? Number one, it used all the stored nutrients for its growth and sustenance. When you plant such a root, such a stem, the germination will be very poor. It will be what? Poor. Number two, some of the stems will even assume that I am the root myself. It will start to form its own behavior like it is like the root. Okay? But the best is within 12 to 18 months. Now, farmers always love planting cassava stems that are huge, big. Yes? Because you feel, this is material, it is nice. No. Any stem for planting must have a diameter. When we say diameter is this round thing here, okay? Must be 2 centimeters. Okay? The diameter must be what? When you are not getting this planting material, its length, how long it's supposed to be, must be 25 centimeters. The length is 25 centimeters. Now, farmers always know how to measure these things. My average height, someone below me, someone taller than me. The taller person stands aside. The shorter person stands aside. I use the body parts of someone like me. When my hand is like this is 15 centimeters from here up to here. Okay? When I have a fist like this, the whole of this is 10 centimeters. When I hide this big part, this alone is 5 centimeters. If I remove my shoes from mark 1, 2, 3, 4, I give 1 meter exactly. Twice my pace factor, 1, 2. This is 50 what? Centimeters. My tallest finger to my ankle, 45 centimeters. Yes? Don't give an excuse. I'm not line planting because there are no rulers, there are no tape measures. No. Use your body what? Parts. You have make them to achieve better. By the every farmer is very bright. Every farmer is what? Before I was born to research, why not grow in cassava? Was there no food on your table? It was there, okay? But I'm only making us to detail a little bit what? Better. That's why I'm here. Okay? Now, our stem cutting is 25 centimeters long. Now, it now comes to the methods of planting. Methods of what? Planting. When you go to Alur land around Panyango, these people plant cassava, it is seen God up. Yes? They fix it. The vertical method, okay? Then sometimes they say, the vertical method is bad, but let me slide it a bit. Okay? That is method 2. 3, some people plant cassava, it gives you a sign like the cross of Jesus. Okay? Are you there? In the soil. I'll talk about them later. Others say, 1 stem is not enough. Let me plant what? 2. They must not in them. Then today we are learning which one is the best. This thing will yield you a very big tuber. It's very deep under the soil with 1 or 2 auxiliary ones. Definitely when you are harvesting, you leave much of the tuber in the soil. It's difficult. It's under the soil. Okay? Now for a lazy woman or family will fail to harvest. And the yield is also what? Poor. Number 2, when you plant like the cross of Jesus, the cassava will yield in all the 4 corners. The roots are very tiny, few in number, and yet deeper in the soil. Okay? Thirdly, if you plant 2 stem cuttings in 1 hole, they'll give you roots all right. The size will also be what? Smaller. Not commercial value. There's no family planning here. The nutrient will not be enough for them. Okay? If you have 10 children, you give them a plate of food, and then the other person has 4 on a plate of food. There's trouble. Okay? Now, that's why we say, for commercial farmers, use what? 1 stem cutting per hole. Which hole is 1 meter by 1 meter. This is the space, but it must be at least 15 centimeters deep. Deep means is not how deep you, okay? 15 centimeters what? When they say 1 meter by 1 meter, what do I mean? Some people say 1 meter is this. And someone with the short hands like me, what will happen? I already told you, Muse, how to measure 1 meter. What did they say? Use what? You remove your shoes, viatu. You remove it. 1, 2, 3, 4. But the technical issue now is, how do you place your cassava cutting in the soil? Our strong winds come from where? Eastern Uganda. It goes where? What about our sunshine? Comes from where? It sets where? By the way, farmers, that is a resource for you. For any cassava that you plant, this is number one. When you plant it facing north-south, you are seeing. North-south, you are seeing. When the wind comes, it does not have any resistance. It is very shallow. For example, when I stand like this, when you push me, I will just fall. Okay? I will what? Fall. But when I'm this way, I have resistance here. You try, you will see. I will not go. You are seeing? That's how you orient your cassava cutting. Put it in the eastern, western direction. At business, even if it grows, there will be no way that the strong winds can lodge or throw it down. Are we okay? It's one reason where cassava yields very well. You'll find under the armor of strong winds, what happens? Much of it is what? Uprooted by the, you'll find it in the morning. It's because of that. Are we okay? Now, we have planted. How many times do you weed?
Maybe let me emphasize on this. Please take note of this. He said 1 meter by 1 meter, meaning from one line of cassava to the next line, the spacing should be 1 meter. And he said how many? 3, 4. Then also from one hole or cassava stem to the next should also be 1 meter. Like still 1, 2, 3, 4. In other words, it's a uniform spacing. 1 meter in between the lines and 1 meter from one cassava stem or hole to the next. And we said the stem ideally should be how many centimeters? 15, right? And how do we measure 15, if someone can remember?
It's 15 centimeters deep.
15 centimeters deep, like from the, let's say if this is our soil, right? You dig the hole, like should go 15 centimeters deep. And how do we measure 15 centimeters? So meaning, if you're digging with you don't need to really, after digging, you first put your hand, but I know we're farmers and we have experience, so we can find ways of, digging relatively 15 centimeters. We don't need to measure our holes, but we should be around there, please.
Now, I want us to see how many of these cassava plants can be in 1 acre or can be in 1 hectare, okay? As a business person. Now, what is the measurement for 1 acre of land? How many meters by how many meters? 75 square. Yes? Followed by n number that multiply gives you 4,000 square meters is 1 acre, okay? Meaning it can be 40 meters by 100 meters or 50 meters by 80 meters. These two must give you 4,000 square what? Meters. That's 1 what? Acre. Now, how do you measure 1 hectare of land? But before that, how many acres can make 1 hectare? You people ran away from mathematics. 4 acres, 1 hectare. Yes? 2.5. 2 and what? 2.5 acres gives you 1 hectare. But 1 hectare is equal to 10,000 square what? Meters. Which number multiplies by what can give you 10,000 square meters? Huh? Yes? Come again, louder. 100 by 100. Or 50 by what? 200. It gives you what? 10,000 square meters. Now, when you know that, given the chance to plant cassava in 1 acre, at space of 1 meter by 1 meter, you'll have 4,000 of these cassava plants in the field. Yes? How many? When we shall come to economics, that is very necessary. I'm like trying to foresee that. Okay? Now, after germination, it's always advisable after germination, weed under your cassava not later than 3 weeks after germination. Not later than what? Half past noon. Half past what? Hey, that's my time. Hey. Okay. Okay. They warned me about time. The thing is sweet. Huh? I love dealing with farmers. When you speak to a farmer, it's an interest that shows that I am working for my people. When the government gives money, I will eat it with that fear because I've worked. Okay? And when you talk to a farmer, you are solving so many problems. You are making them rich. I don't want poor farmers. If you are a farmer here, you are poor, you're not my friend. There's no farmer who's what? Poor. All farmers are what? And richness does not come without hard work. And I think there are youth here. Youth, you're embarrassing me. You don't want to work. And these youth here are good because you are with me here. The ones who don't want to work are not here. Huh? When you are sick, I think you look for a doctor's service. We are very few. A chance like this, use it maximally. Okay? Use it what? And it must be the next speaker. When I'm in my grave, oh, I've retired. You're the next what? Don't shy away. It's normal. It happens. Okay? We weed cassava after what? 3 weeks after germination. That's first weeding. But the second weeding normal comes when you see prevalence of weeds. Okay? But when you are weeding, be careful. You are targeting the roots. Don't bring the hole nearer to the what? Instead, you use gathering method. You bring soil towards the what? The root. So that it will what? Expand. So that it will yield well. Don't scoop the soil away from the stool. You gather. Okay? Now, once you do that, the aspects of harvesting, the aspects of what are not my problem. I know. During dry season, people suffer a lot harvesting cassava. Don't they? They do. Which means you either use piecemeal harvest method. Piecemeal means you follow one route after the other. And it is like it's your bang. A few routes for boiling, you cover the rest. Okay? But when you're a commercial farmer, now, there's no piecemeal harvest there. But when you're harvesting, always make sure avoid causing too much damages on the roots. The more you cut, the more you cause physical injury. Easy deterioration. You know, it rots easier. Okay? Avoid bruises. Avoid cutting the roots into pieces. Okay? Avoid it. That will help you to expand on what called the lifespan. Now, aspects of processing, I beg, after my business lesson, we shall do it practically. There is a machine. Everyone must see, okay? How to handle what? Cassava processing. I know during those years we are so much soaking in water, we are so much heaping to ferment. I'm aware, okay? Those happened for what we call bitter varieties. When it's bitter, full of cyanide, poison, okay? But sweet cassava does not need fermenting. And when you're targeting the factories for bread, for liquor, those factories don't need fermented cassava. In my science, when you ferment cassava, the match of cassava is water and starch. Yes? Water and what? Starch. But when you ferment the starch, it changes to other forms of sugars. It becomes not palatable for for bread industry or factory. Okay? The sugar changes. But again, for bitter cassava, when you don't ferment it, it can kill you. These are two things. Get me right. This cassava you see that, engulfs our markets and it looks like ivory, white and nice. When you form the flour, while baking the bread, you struggle. Women, are you there? It's hard, eh? Very hard. That is the best cassava. It is rich in what? Starch. But when you don't want it to give you that headache of elasticity, being like rubber, harvest the cassava, peel, wash, have a clean drums of water, allow it to sleep over one night, okay? Then the next day you can split into what pieces. But my issue now is, in Uganda, most crops have passed the age of agronomy. Agronomy means from planting up to maturity is excellent, 100%. But when China comes to processing, as Ugandans, we are still backward. We eat a lot of aflatoxin. Okay? When you eat it, cancerous conditions come in. Apart from cancer, it causes retardation in growth rate for children. Even the brain does not develop well. You see? This happens with the heaped type of cassava soaked in water. But for the soaked one, there's trouble. Our waters are not clean. Are they clean? No. The maggots, flies are the best friend in those valleys. You see? I don't prohibit it, but what happens is use clean source of water like drums within your compound. Okay? Peel the cassava, allow it to ferment for 3 to 4 days. It's okay. Then you can do other things. If not, you are a candidate for bilharzia. Candidate for what? A very serious one. You are a candidate. Our hot water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. These women add the flour into the what? Hot water. They are mingling. By the time they are midway mingling, the flour is not enough. They keep what? They are adding. By the time when they're like making the final kind of baking, they also add another one. At that time, what will be the temperature of that food? Are you not eating bilharzia cysts? It happens. Okay? In science, we don't lie. You talk facts. Okay? So, you beware of that. Now, lastly, I am speaking cassava as business now. I was bringing your mind, okay? We are going to extrapolate. We'll take 1 acre to make our business course. Okay? How many acres? 1 only. Any farmer here who wants to be a commercial farmer, pay attention. This is your gold now. Okay? Now, I earlier told you 1 acre measures 40 by 100 or 80 by 50 meters squared. 4,000 square meters. Now, we shall begin from land hire, the land preparation regimes, acquisition of plant and material, the labor for all those, even your cost for the bags to plant 1 acre, the weeding regimes, there are 2. Okay? After weeding, you now come to the sale of the stems. After sale of the stems, you go to sale of the what? Roots. Then you see how much money you can make in 1 what? Acre of cassava. That will either discourage you or encourage you to take cassava as business. Am I right? Yeah, that's a very small role to play.
In other words, we are going to look at how much do you need maybe to plant 1 acre of cassava, from looking for, opening the land, getting the planting materials, weeding and all that, and then after sales, what you injected in, then what is coming out, what is the profit. That is exactly what our specialist is going to do. So let us pay attention to that. Thank you.
Now, we agree we shall use what we call standard rates. Standard what? Do we use tractor or handhole? Let's agree. Whether you go for handhole, you are killing a goat, you are buying nguli, You remember, those are costs that must be attached. You remember, when people talked about communal digging, oh yeah, unless you give them liquor, they cannot appreciate, they not come next time. Let's use the tractor, okay? Is that okay? First of all, you are graduating from subsistence to commercial. Now, number one is land hire. How much do you hire an acre of land? Yes? Do we agree? 120,000 for acre. For an acre. Hello? Hey, which region or side is that? Logri. An acre is 4 quarters. Which means a quarter goes for what? 75,000. A quarter is 75. And then half an acre is 150. 1 acre is what? 300. Do we agree? What do we put there? Hey, don't delay my time. I put 300, eh? Hey. Hey, someone say it is what? Where are the elders here? Bamboo. How much is an acre in terms of land hire? Where do you come from? This is from Yumba. He says 120. Hello? At 300. Hey, the refugee influx. Okay. First, land opening. How much is that? First digging. First land open by tractor. An acre. Madam. 140. Okay. Second land opening. Second land open. Second. Are we together? Second land opening. Second digging. How much? 100. How much? 120. Now, let us get the planting material. To plant 1 acre of cassava, you need 8 bags. How many bags? Do you know why? When the cassava has 2 diameter kind of thickness, 1 bag like this will pack around 700 cuttings. How many bags? How many cuttings? 700 per bag. Okay? You do for me the mathematics of multiplying 700 by 8. 700 by 8? Don't you have phones there? 700 times 8. What is the answer? Huh? 5,000 what? 600. Okay? Now, by 7. 700 by 7. 400. 490. Okay? Do you know why I'm bringing this? There are people called suppliers who supply you with what you call bags of cuttings. Huh? Sometimes when you look at the bag, it's not pregnant. Here it is hollow. Eh? You see? And it is full of what you call the wooden materials. Why I put 8 is some of those you take them away. Okay? Let's take 8 of them. If for now, 1 bag of stem cutting at higher price is 40,000 shillings. At lower price is 30,000 shillings. Which one do we take? 35, okay? Cuttings. Cuttings. 8 bags times 40,000. Do that mathematics. Now, Labor for planting, an acre. How much did they charge you to plant 1 acre? Farmers, I'm talking to you. 1 acre is planted at what? Oh, 320. This is 300 what? Now, we are planting. That's the labor. How much is for 1 acre? How much? 60,000. It involves hole drilling and cover and everything. Mama says 60. Any difference? Any difference? 100. I'm picking 100. Okay? First weeding. First weeding and second weeding. First weeding. 120. Second weeding. Also 120. How much? 80. Are they the same or it's less by 40,000? How much money? They move the same. I leave pie as pie. Now, at this stage, listen, excuse me. Farmers, you either grow cassava for stem selling as business or the roots. You can't go both. Are you with me? You do cassava as business, you either take priority of the stems or you abandon the stems, you go for the what? But when you go for the stems, your bonus will be the roots. Are you there? When you go for the stems, your bonus will be what? The roots. And again, when you go for the roots, you lose the stems. Get me clear here. Okay? Now, I want us to shoot 2 birds with 1 stone now. We're first selling the stems at least 3 times, then the roots later. Okay? Now, our cassava is now at 1 year, 12 months. Okay? I don't know. I need us to compute this and we add and leave it here. Can we compute? How many calculators are there? On your marks. 300,000. 140. 120. 320. 220 plus 120. $1,220,000. This is up to when the thing has grown. I am ready for harvesting. You remember? Now, let's go for the stem harvest. Okay? You remember in my principle of agriculture, there's what we call net profit, which comes as a result of total expenses minus, no, when you minus your total expenses from the sales. We'll see it later, okay? Now, first harvest of stems. Now, 1 acre will give you 80 to 100 bags. These are bags of cuttings. I'm taking the lowest, okay? 80 to what? 100. Now, how much do they normally charge you? How much do they normally charge you to cut and chop to fill 1 bag of cassava cutting? Is it complicated? Some of you have been selling cassava stems, yes? 5,000. 10,000 per bag. Does that include the charge for the bag? 10,000 per bag. Which region is that? You people, I am young, but I'm part of Cassava in West Nile. I've moved, eh? Hello? So when it is full, 7,000 per bag, eh? Eh. Okay. Am I delaying? Let me do this. Okay. One bag for cutting, okay? One bag cutting. The labor is 7,000. 7,000 plus the bag, everything. Now, let's take the 100 bags, okay? 100 times 7,000. What is the answer? 70,000. Which means in 1 acre, you'll use 70,000. 700,000. This is for harvesting the stems, packing, cutting and packing. Okay? Now, I think these people normally go and pick the thing from your farm site. The transport is on them. Do you agree? Do you normally take these bags to the market? No, they go there to the field. Okay? Any other labor you feel that must be added here? Any labor? Transportation where? From the farm today? To the how much is that? 2,000 per bag times 100. That comes to 200. 200, eh? This comes to 900. Okay? I want us to do this. You add 900 to the other money. 900 plus what? That's 2.1. Yes? It is 1,000, no, 1,220,000 plus this. 2,120,000. This is your total expenditure in 1 acre. Now, let's come to our sales, okay? How many bags were here? There are 100. 100 times, are you there? We took 40,000. 100 times 40,000, what is the answer? 4 million. Our sales, 100 bags gives you 4 million. Now 4 million minus 2,120,000. Our ropes are not there for stitching the bags. Thank you. By the way, you normally buy one bundle of rope. At how much? How many ropes will you need? Give me your experience. For 1 acre. 2 of them, eh? 10,000. 10,000 plus 2,120,000. What is the answer? 2,120,000. 2,130,000. Minus this. Give me the arithmetic. 0, 0, 0, 0. This is 7. This is 9. And what? 1. 1,900,000 and what? 70,000. 12 months. Profit on 1 acre. And you're harvesting for the second time. When you are harvesting for second time, the bags move from 100 to 100 and what? 20. Why? The cassava will be a ratoon. Ratoon means from the pure stand, if I cut you, very many auxiliary stems come. But as you are weeding, be careful. Break the weaker ones, only leave 3 or 4 per stool. Which means there will be many stems here, like 3 to 4, okay? Then that's why the number of bags suits from 100 up to 120. Then let's take 120. We will not fail this. 120 times 40,000. What is the answer? 4.8. 4,800,000. Now, another 4,800,000. Do you know why? You are harvesting 3 times. 4.8 times 2. What is the answer? 9.6. 9.6 plus what? What? Plus 4 million. I know what I'm doing. 5.6 plus no, because I'll come to minus. 4.8 times 2 is what? 9.6 plus 4 million. What is the answer? 13 point what? 13,600,000. This is yet your gross, eh? This is yet your gross. Now, what will only happen here is, what was our total expenditure here? 2 point what? Times 3. What is the answer? 2.130 times 3. Now you multiply, no, you subtract 6 point what? 6.36. You subtract for me 6.39 from 13 million. Huh? 7 point what? 1. This is your profit. Now, let's go lastly to the bonus now. We're going to the bonus, eh? Do you know where the bonus comes? Huh? The roots. How many roots, how many number of stools did we have? We had 4,000 of them. 1 acre is equals to 4,000 stools of what? Cassava. The stools are these things. This is a stool, okay? Now, on the lowest side, 1 stool gives you 2 kilograms of anyafra. 1 stool gives you what? 2 kilograms of cassava flour. Are we okay? That is on the lowest side. But the highest can be 6, even 5 or 8, depending upon variety and the nature of the soil and management. I'm picking the list. Now, if 1 stool equals to 2 kilograms of cassava flour. Now, how many tons, how many kilograms can you make from 1 acre? Okay? You remember we had 4,000 watt stools. It will be 4,000 multiplied by 2 kilograms. This gives you 8,000 what? Kilograms, which is the same as tons. 8 tons, okay? 8 tons. Now, how much is a kilogram of anyafura? High quality one. Cassava flour. 1,200. Which place is that? Huh? Mama, Yes, madam. How much do you sell 1 kilogram of high quality cassava flour? Huh? 1,000. 1,000 times 8,000. It gives you what? 80 million. 8 what? Million. 80 million plus. No, if this 80 million, there are also expenses here. You remember? What do you do there? What are these expenses? Sacks. Loading. Peeling. Uprooting. I want the brave woman to sum up for me the expenses that she can work on. Where are you? I'm cutting time. Huh? Roughly how many? How much millions? Do you reach 4? Do you reach 3? 2.5. 2.5 minus this. 5.5. 5,500,000. You now add it on top of 7.210. You add this for me. Get the total from 1 acre now. $12,710. This is what you can make from 1 acre. Okay? When you compare this with the other crops, is it too bad or it is 50-50? Taking into account the aspect of the intensive labor. Are we good to go to take Cassava's business? Huh? Can we start even with a quarter of 1 acre? Yeah, you don't begin things big, eh? Begin small. When you feel the sweetness is when you add in. But you remember, Omia Agribusiness is around. Narabizad is around. Your sub-county, in terms of the leadership, the technical leadership are around. The ball is back to you. You are sitting on gold. When you are lazy, you don't harvest. When you are hardworking, you will not see poverty. Is that okay? Apart from selling that precious land for buying a Bajaj motorcycle that you misuse within a month, and the land is gone. The Bajaj is even gone. You've summoned you. Yeah? You are pressurizing these parents for that thing. Quick money, but money. Did you produce any land that you are selling? Whose land? By the way, land sales money is rotten. It is cast. I've never seen people benefiting from it. The land is gone. Your Bajaj is gone. The next is you also going. Huh? Be careful, eh? Huh? Now, can I have some questions? We shall demonstrate how to chip the cassava roots. I'll call it a day. Any questions for me?
Please, if you have some questions, maybe. I'm seeing a hand here.
Yes. Pick the questions.
It's it's like I'm seeing 1, then 2. Others are maybe thinking. It either means they have really learned and they're satisfied, or but anyway, that is the ideal. Please.
Thanks. By name, I'm called Joazza Livingston from Lower Made. That's near Renacam sub-county. At first, you thought of 2 varieties which are effective for the business. So last year I planted narrowcast, but out of that I found there are 2 varieties. The other one grows tall, then the other one grows at a medium range. But which one is out of 2? Which one is a narrowcast one? That's my question.
Where did you get the seed from?
No, I just bought one of the locals.
Yeah. Okay, that's question number 1. Tall versus short. Which one's weight in terms of narrowcast one? Before, the cassava was called Narocas 1, there were two varieties. There was NAM 130, then NAM 140. Okay? NAM means Namlonge, okay? This 130 is now the narrow Cas 1. NAM 140 was not released because it succumbed to disease and pest symptoms by then, okay? Now, when you see anything tall in your field, that's the NAM 140, it is condemned, okay? The best you can do is you do what to call selective rogging, uprooting, okay? You uproot those ones, you leave the short ones. But the best is, I will advise at farmer level, discard all that and then you consult us for a better what? Planting material, and then you start with that. Am I okay? Next question.
Remember, if we talked about the sources, like where can you get the best planting material? That is very important because it starts with the seed. If you don't get the right seed, chances are high you will not get the millions we've just talked about. Please.
My name's call me Emily Majaku from Logiri. This time, if you take rain season like this, it is not like those days whereby it starts by March. I've seen from my end, people plant cassavas up to November. Is that a good month for the wet cassava? Sometimes they come and do their field during the April. Which one is the best month for the planting?
Cassava is a climate smart crop. It grows with a minimal amount of rainfall. It is very friendly with what we call poor rain network. However, there's a pest called cassava green mite. For this pest, it makes cassava to remain stranded, especially when you plant towards onset of dry season. Okay? You'll find all the leaves are not there. It gives you something that stands like candlestick or a pencil. Okay? So to avoid that, always plant cassava in the first rains of the year, then in the early months of the second season, which means something like July to what? At most, let me say September. Okay? Maybe the worst is October. Anything above that, no, don't. Are we there? But otherwise, there will be difference in growth. When you like refill, in my agronomy, after first weeding, you refill immediately. You remember? After what? First weeding, you refill what? Immediately. That time. Now, when you wait for the other rain time to come, rain season to come, I think there will be variation. You won't be called a commercial farmer by then. And when you are filling, use the same variety. For example, you are planting Nasa 19, you fill it with Narocas 1. Or you plant Narocas 1, you are filling with what? Nasa 19, that's Katogo. It's bad, eh? Are we there? Now, one important thing I need to tell you is, when you have a clean source of planting material, buy enough of it. There's what to call a method of keeping cassava to wait for 2 or 3 months. You remember? Number one is, you cut them long, tie them like bundles, you stick them under a very big tree like this, upright, making sure the soil there is dug some of the part enders. As you water, 2-3 months, it will remain. 3, this same cassava, in bundles you take to your what? Wetland. You remember? Allow them stand there. You heap them around with soil. 3-4 months, it will wait for you. But when it is already cut, the best you do, remove them from the cavera, the gunny bags. Pour them under a sage tree. Okay? Cover them with leaves as you water. They will sprout and wait for you. Is that okay? It's one thing that bothers you. You want some food from the roots. You want to keep the stems for the next planting. Dry season, no. Wet season. Go ahead and harvest. Use the method for preserving the what? Stem. Is that okay? Another question?
Yeah, I think I'll pick 1 and then 2. Unless there is really a very burning. Okay, 3.
4
Yeah,
is here. Haji also wants to talk.
Okay. 4. We are also looking at a time to, we also need to give you time to go and learn other things, right? It's very important. So we've had, like, we can plant cassava generally throughout the season. Like he said, it is climate smart. But if you want to get the most out of it, from now, I think we have already known when to plant it, right?
Thank you very much. My name is Adnan. We are so much glad with this training. When we take the calculations around, I think everybody will go to field. But again, our challenge as farmers is now after cultivating this. If it comes to now marketing, all the farmers will bear witness with me that it's only the what we refer to as bonus that we always benefit from. The cassava stems, like last year, I planted cassava in 2 acres. Of course, I was with the plan of getting even more than what we have got. I mean, the one we have calculated. But selling the stems was tag of war. I tried to do connections from those who could connect me to those who could buy, but they will come and tell you, please, the only thing that we can do is you sell for us maybe 10,000 per sack. If not, you look for your market. As a farmer, what do we do?
Adnan, where do you come from?
From Yumbe.
Hey. Fine. I've written something QDS. Quality Declared Seed. SMS. Subject Matter Specialist. And I hyphened it to what to call someone called DAO. A seed is life. Life must be healthy. From the genesis of go up to when it is used. Which means there are protocols, there are levels of inspection. Okay? Next time when you want to do cassava's business, approach the district agricultural office. They link you to a better source managed by them. When you plant, invite them for what to call inspection. Inspection is done 3 times. First, immediately after first weeding, immediately after second weeding, then at harvest, they check for what to call pest and disease symptoms. And it is these people who know the market also. Unless they don't love you, they will fail you. But when they love you, they will not fail you. And that is the protocol. And the Ugandan law says, you scratch my back, I scratch. This is what happens in those places. I'm aware. Okay? But when you lose 100,000 and you make 5 million, I think it is normal in Uganda, okay? Than to lose the whole thing. You get me? You fish a big fish with a small one. Hey. Unless you are into QDS. But when you are like Patex, you lose it all, my friend. Okay? It's my advice. I think that's where I can stop.
Okay, maybe to add on that, I don't know if you tried to reach out to our team, because ideally one of the things we do as Omia Agribusiness is to help in marketing the products or the produce that the farmers, are struggling to get. For instance, we supply these things to other people that need it in bulk, and we move to farmers, right? So sometimes it is, what I'm trying to say, if you have cassava and maybe we are looking for it, it's important if we get in touch, right? Yeah. So I don't know if you reach to our team and they reach out to you. But in case you're facing challenges, especially in marketing, please reach out to us. Omia Agribusiness. We can start from there. Maybe they wrote a name, District Agricultural Officer. Some people fear to go to those big offices, right? Maybe we can help each other and we reach there. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm Elder Ondoga Swaib, a retired civil servant. I've now turned to farming. One, I would like to know your opinion. If I intercrop cassava with the maize or beans, what's wrong with that? Two, if I wish to use fertilizer, is it okay? Because you were blaming people in Tergov by using fertilizer for tobacco. And thereafter, when the cassava is planted, it also comes very well, which means it uses that fertilizer, which is for the tobacco. Thirdly, I wish to know whether we really have these tractors for hire. For me, I've failed to get where to get tractors for hire. Thank you.
Yeah, as he's noting down, you talked of intercropping, like planting cassava alongside other crops. You mentioned maize in the same garden. That is what intercropping means. And then fertilizer, right? He will talk about fertilizer. I'll give it back to him. You know, there are also different types of fertilizers, right? Used at different stages and for different crops. A gentleman of Green Pulse was talking of fertilizer specifically made for specific crops. So which fertilizer also? We are going to hear from him. And then lastly, yeah, where are the tractors for hire? Please.
Okay. Intercropping, this is for, is measured for what to call food security. You intercrop for purposes of food security. That when you lose one, you don't fail. But again, when you're also intercropping, you must be so much into the aspect of which crop do you take more serious. And the other one is a by the way. Okay? If your interest is cassava, maintain the normal spacing for what? Cassava. But you know, vary the spacing for what? Maize. I know most maize is planted at 75 by 60 centimeters or 75 by 30 centimeters. When it's 75 by 60, you drop 2 seeds per one hole. 75 by 30, you drop one what? Seed. But the farmers are fond of, let me drop so that, this other one will not germinate. You're wasting seeds. And from his training as Omia, I think seed germination test is prerequisite to planting or pre-planting. Okay? So that you are sure of what you are planting. Are you okay? But as if when you are doing that, when you're a commercial farmer, I don't encourage you to intercrop. Get me clear. Unless it is for what? Food security. I think, Baba, I'm very clear there. Number 2, fertilizers are good. Not every fertilizer deserves to be used for any crop. It depends on your education level. By the seller, in terms of what is contained in the fertilizer and for which crops. My issue is we abuse the use of fertilizers and chemicals. Don't we abuse? That's why our lands are degrading, Having said that, the tobacco did yet injustice, it is true. When they said the ratios, this 50 kilograms to 1 acre, what were the tobacco farmers doing? How many bags per 1 acre? What were they doing? They were pouring. They poured. Now when they say 20 mils of, dimethyl mixed to 20 liters of what? Water in the knapsack sprayer. What are they doing? Are they not adding? There was something called disaccharide for, killing, the auxiliary birds of tobacco. People are overpowered. I'm not saying they are bad, but first have education from the seller on how to do it. But fertilizer for cassava must be root-based. Must be what? The one that encourages the roots to grow, the phosphatic fertilizers. But in Uganda, not much fertilizer is used on cassava yet. I'm a research man. I was doing research on this. We have not come up with what to call, the quantities required and the types. Is that okay? Lastly, tractors for hire. I think this is the business world. There are people who have tractors for hire. Besides this, Western Union has tractors for what? Hire. The DFAs have tractors for hire. Now, apart from this, they are what to call commercial farmers who also hire these tractors what? For plowing the land. It's about networking. One thing is, before you leave, network before you go as a farmer. Okay? The last one, as we go, I'm taking too much time.
Okay.
Was here.
Just allow me only take him, please.
I'm Fadigas Gaddafi from Lodara, Koboko North.
Where
We
is your
have
maize?
we have a lot of problems experienced us that way.
Have
One,
materials for him. These are
our cassava products are eaten by some animals in the soil.
These are materials. They are very important.
Two, animals in the soil eating those cassava products. Two is diseases. The other one is in Narocast is not favoring our climate that way. Which one is a bit?
It's not doing well.
Uh,
I wish I was a Kakwa. I would have asked you to yell in Kakwa as you talk to me.
Pesticide. Which pesticide is?
We don't use pesticides on cassava. Cassava is very friendly when it comes to pest and disease tolerance. You only begin with a clean seed. Then you only begin with a seed that tolerates brown streak disease. Your end will be very fine. But however, when he talked about pests, my mind ran to the stray animals. Okay? Which this room must understand. I know there are listeners here. The LCs, they are what? They are here. In West Nile, if you don't leave goats to stray during dry season, they'll say you are not normal. Number two, if you don't burn the grass, then they'll say you are mad. Yes? Who are these people burning the grasses? And whose animals in terms of the cows and goats are those? That's the homework. Okay? You already saw 1 acre in terms of the money profit. How much? I mean, 2 goats can finish 1 acre by day. And when you ask of their value to what they have destroyed, I think it is worth fighting, eh? Now you'll complain you don't have planting materials. And the gods are already destroying them. Can we take charge? Animal people. Gods normally stray to destroy cassava because they have nothing to feed on. Provide supplementary feeding. Ficus leaves, banana peelings, potato vines, kitchen refuse. Give them water. They'll be okay. But you are so lazy that if you have nothing to eat, who's this God to eat? That is us here. Huh? Strike balance, eh? Are we okay? Now, every district has what you call food and agricultural ordinance, laws. When a goat destroys, what happens? I think there were people who were hired to arrest these goats and they are paid. You see? Let that one employ. I'm not teaching violence. I don't think every plate at the table eats goat's meat every day. I think we eat nyasa and beans. Beware, okay? Are we okay? Now, I think that's the last one. I have some rats. Hey, for rats, you do clean weeding. You do what? Clean what? Listen. For rats on cassava, you do clean weeding. After weeding, you also have 2 meters around the cassava. You weed it clean. 3, when the rats are too stubborn, when you peel cassava, okay? Take the peelings of the cassava, mark where the end are in your field. Spread it there. Okay? These rats will come. Since they're hungry, they'll eat the peelings and they retrieve. They'll leave. Now, for those who have baboons, like the Chakulia Nambre area in Koboko, okay? Are you there? Baboons even destroy what? Cassava. Trap 1 baboon. After trapping, paint it with a primary color. Southern color, okay? Leave it to go. The rest will run. Number 2. Excuse me. I am ending. Number 2. Trap 1 baboon. hang a bell on its what? Release it. The rest will run and they'll die of running, exhaustion. Thirdly, mark where the baboons enter your field. Pound a lot of hot chili, okay? Spread it along their entrance on the grass. A baboon is a clever animal. As they move, they use one limb to allow them move. That will have touched what? The hot pepper, and they are fond of touching the anal region. Okay? They'll run because it itches them. Those are the ITKs that you can use. Don't kill. Okay? I'll end by saying I have a few materials here. Since I'm trained under the umbrella of Omia, I don't know whom you will give, but make sure you give. Okay? Make sure you what? Give. My number is here. Make use of this number, and it will help you a lot on aspects of crop pests general. I'm an entomologist by training, okay? But I love cassava. Thank you for listening. Come again. Put what you've learned into practice for transition. We're going to demonstrate there.
Okay. This is not the end of training. The whole period of expo, for the 3 days we shall be learning. Not only here, but as he lives here, he has a tent. They have a tent. So you can go and learn more and more. Those burning questions, you can continue to their tent, and then you learn more and more and more, such that you become a commercial farmer. When we say commercial farmer, we are talking of a farmer who is planting to get money. Right? But maybe as we close, someone mentioned something here about fertilizer. Allow me to say something about it. You see, fertilizers, they are chemicals, right? They are very good to make our crops grow. Just like the medicine we take. Yeah? You can take Panadol, maybe the pain you have, or Coartem, whatever, and you're okay. But if you misuse it, it becomes something else. For instance, let's say just any medicine where the doctor tells you 1 times, well, let's say 2 times 3. Okay, let me say 1 times, or let's say 1 times 4, right? You just take 1, maybe 4 times. Ideally, I'm just giving an example. Imagine you say, okay, 1 times 4, those are 4, right? What if I do 4 times 1? It becomes a problem, right? So if you're using fertilizer, yeah, so you can get in there. So when you're using fertilizer or any other chemical, including the pesticides, make sure you follow the instruction. If they say a 50 kilogram bag in 1 acre, let it be that. Don't add more, right? Don't even use little. Even for these pesticides, if they say mix, let's say maybe 10 grams in 20 liters, or maybe 100 milliliters in maybe 20 liters, please do that. You may think maybe you are adding a little and maybe it is better, but with time it becomes bad. And secondly, about fertilizers, these fertilizers are made in a way that for different stages of crop growth, different stages of crop growth requires different type of fertilizers or nutrients. When the crop is still very young, trying to germinate, trying to grow, the early stage, right? The most important thing there is it to develop strong roots. They need to develop strong roots such that they can, continue growing up. When the roots are weak, they can fall over, especially when wind comes. So there we need much of fertilizers that contain what the English calls phosphorus, right? So as the crops continue growing, especially things like maize and then other crops whereby we are targeting what is above the ground, we need more fertilizers that contain a lot of nitrogen. And then later on, like that. So, in other words, if, for instance, you're looking at cassava, but he said for cassava we don't need fertilizer currently. But if you're looking at something that gives you, like you harvest the roots, let's say onion, maybe sweet potatoes, things that give you, the yield is the root, right? Then you need more of fertilizers that help the roots. If you're looking at things like maize and others, Yeah. If we were looking at things that grow from up, like maybe maize, and maybe let's say sukuma wiki, then we need more of fertilizer that will give you more of nitrogen, right? So it is important you just don't apply fertilizer. If you don't know, of course, you can't know everything, right? So accept that maybe you don't know certain things. That is, if you know, you don't know, and consult from the experts. Omia Agribusiness is there for you, plus others also that are here at the exhibition, especially the ones selling fertilizers. You can go to them and ask. Also, different products, you can try to inquire to understand how best to use it to get the most out of it. Otherwise, thank you for being good listeners. Though in his absence, I would like us to join our hands and clap for our trainer of today. Yes, thank you. This is the end of the first session of training, and then let's go and move and learn from the exhibitors. Then we shall come later for the last training of today. Thank you so much. My name is Mungoromo Jeremiah. I am the head of farmer support at Omia Agribusiness. Also, if you want to contact me for anything related to crop production of any kind, I'm going to give you my number too. And here with me, we have...
thank you so much, our dear farmers. I'm called Wanda Godfrey Owo. I'm an extension officer based in Achole sub-region. Thank you so much for coming once again. Let us use the 3 days very well. Let us learn. Our dear farmers, Omia is here to help you. Our partners are here to help you. Let us not lack. Ask any question you feel like asking. Once again, welcome.